On Valentine's Day in 1982, a shocking discovery was made near Interstate 40. The lifeless body of a young woman, Valentine Sally, wearing only blue jeans with no ID, recently identified as CAROLYN Celeste EATON, who vanished from St. Louis, Missouri. Her fate remains a haunting enigma. Meanwhile, the brutal murder of SHARON JARVIS, a 14-year-old runaway found dead in 1980, has finally been identified through DNA genealogy. As we delve into these chilling cases, we're left wondering, who could be responsible for these heinous acts? Hi and welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, please consider subscribing, as it helps us motivate to create more intriguing content for you. Let's have a look at the two horrific unsolved cases of recently identified Jane Doe. CAROLYN Celeste EATON. On Valentine's Day in 1982, an officer from the Arizona Department of Public Safety checked out an area near the westbound lane of Interstate 40, about 11 miles west of the city of WILKINS and close to the Monte Carlo truck stop. Not long before, something had caused a car tire to go off the road, and the police officer had to get it back to keep things from getting worse. But to the officer's surprise, he did not find a lost tire under the cedar tree, just 25 feet from the highway. Instead, he found the dead body of a young woman, likely in her late teens. This Jane Doe, who went by the name Valentine Sally, was only wearing blue jeans by the brand Seasons outfit. She did not have any ID with her, and all she had with her was a towel and her clothes. Jane Doe had blonde hair and earrings on her left earlobe. She had scars on her left foot and one of her legs. Investigators could not tell if the same holes were in her right ear because her body had started to break down and animals were eating it. Police were able to figure out that Jane Doe's body had been pulled to where it was found by looking at her belt loops. The medical inspector had a hard time figuring out how she died because of how her body looked, but she is thought to have been strangled. Just before she died, one of her bottom teeth had been set up for a root canal. People think she died between February 1st and February 6th, even though people saw her alive on February 3rd. Law enforcement officers began making a timeline of Jane Doe's last known movements. After asking for help from the public, a student at Northern Arizona University said she met a girl who fit Jane Doe's description and drove her north. The girl said she was from Phoenix and worked as a maid, but she had to move to New Jersey because of problems with her family. She wanted to get to Flagstaff so she could hitchhike to the East Coast. When the cops talked to people who worked at the Ash Forks Monte Carlo truck stop, they met a restaurant worker named Patty Wilkins, whose family owned the place. Early on February 3, 1982, she saw a girl with blue eyes who looked like Jane Doe. At the time, she was with an older man who looked to be in his 60s and could have been the girl's father, uncle, or even grandpa. Patty remembered that Jane Doe asked a worker at a restaurant for drugs. The only thing the worker could give her was a baby aspirin. Then, Jane Doe put an aspirin on one of her bottom teeth. Patty thought the teen was between the ages of 16 and 17. She said that she usually told the local sheriff's office about young girls who looked like runaways, but she did not this time because Jane Doe seemed very comfortable with the older man, and Patty thought they were happy. They went to the truck stop around 3 a.m. and left an hour later. After the girl left, no one could remember what kind of truck or car she got into. Patty asked the teen if she was okay and if she wanted to go with the man. Jane Doe reportedly said she was happy to go with him. The young person was with a white man who was between 60 and 65 years old, stood between 5 feet 8 and 5 feet 10 inches tall, and had a middle weight. He wore a patterned brown leather coat with 2 different shades of brown, and a felt cowboy hat with a big peacock feather on the front. 2 years later, in 1984, when Gators came to talk to Patty Wilkins and the rest of the team, she knew right away how to jump. In 1984, when a Coconino County Sheriff's Office officer saw Melody CUTLIP'S missing person report, he thought that Jane Doe and Melody CUTLIP were the same person. He called a forensic odontologist to compare their teeth records, But the dentist's methods were neither scientifically sound nor reliable. Melody's mother did not want the body parts taken to Florida because she did not think they were from her lost daughter. Melody moved back home in 1986, and she died in a car accident in Louisiana 12 years later. Wilkins paid for the grave of Jane Doe in Williams, Arizona. Later, Melody Cutlip and Valentine Sally were put on her gravestone. Even though her family asked many times for Melody's name to be taken off the headstone after it was clear that she was not the same person, it stayed there. Early in 2021, the Coconino County Sheriff's Office said that with the help of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the National Missing and Unidentified Person System, the Arizona Department of Public Safety, and a private family company, they had found out who Jane Doe was. She turned out to be 17-year-old CAROLYN Celeste EATON. She was born on October 1, 1964, and she disappeared from St. Louis, Missouri, around Christmas 1981. She supposedly ran away from home after a fight, but her family did not report her missing. CAROLYN's background and why she ran away from home are not very well known. There are not many ideas for her. Most people think that she died because of the guy she was with. Many online detectives think that he killed her because she turned down his sexual approaches. Royal Russell Long, a violent criminal and suspected serial killer with a history of extreme sexual violence and convictions for abduction, is one of the key suspects. In 1993, he died in jail, and his own daughter said that he had hurt her. When SHARON Bald Eagle went missing in 1984, he pleaded guilty to kidnapping. It is also thought that he had something to do with Deborah Mayer and Carlene Brown going missing in Wyoming in 1974. Royal Russell Long is possibly best known for being a suspect in the disappearance of Cindy Paulette and Charlotte Kinsey, two 13-year-old girls who went missing from the Oklahoma State Fair in September 1981. Sherry Ann Jarvis. On November 1, 1980, police discovered Walker County Jane Doe near Huntsville, Texas. She was later identified as Sherry Ann Jarvis. A driver driving on Interstate 45 found her dead body, which led police to start looking into what happened. She was a young white woman who was between 14 and 18 years old. When she was found dead, she had been dead for about 6 hours. On her, they only found a thin gold chain with a dark brown or blue glass stone and a pair of red leather shoes with brown straps and high heels. The Harris County Medical Examiner looked at Jane Doe and found that she was about 5 feet 6 inches tall, weighed between 105 and 120 pounds, had green eyes, and had 10 inches of light brown hair with a golden tint. Her toes were painted a light pink color, but her fingers were not covered with anything. The medical inspector also said that she looked healthy, which could mean that she was from the middle class. The records for her teeth showed that she had recently been to the doctor. Jane Doe died of asphyxiation from being strangled with a ligature. The analysis showed that she had been killed in a brutal way. Pieces of her tights and underwear were found in her vaginal area, which showed that she had likely been choked with them to stop her from bleeding on the way to the crime scene. She had also been sexually abused with a hard object and beaten so hard that her mouth and eyes swelled up. On her right shoulder, there was a deep bite mark. In order to find out who she was, authorities looked into what she did in the days before she died. People at a Gulf gas station and the hitch and post truck stop said they saw her wearing blue jeans, a dirty yellow sweater, and a wide knit sweatshirt with big pockets. She had red candles with her, which were later found in the trash. Witnesses say that the last time they saw her was at the Gulf gas station on the night of October 31, 1980. She got out of a blue 1973 or 1974 Chevrolet Caprice with a light-colored top and a white guy driving it. She asked for directions to the Texas Department of Corrections Ellis Prison Farm, now called the Ellis Units, in Walker County. Later, she was seen going north on Sam Houston Avenue, and then again at a truck stop along Interstate 45 called Hitch and Post. She asked for directions to the Ellis Units again, saying that a friend would meet her there. The police tried to find her identity by looking for missing girls who resembled her but didn't find any leads. Later, a picture of a 14-year-old girl named Kathleen surfaced online, resembling Jane Doe. The investigation connected Jane Doe's case to the 1979 murder of Deborah Jackson and the deaths of 3 other women found in 1980 along Interstate 45. Eventually, with the help of DNA genealogy, Jane Doe was identified as Sherry Ann Jarvis, a 14-year-old from Stillwater, Minnesota, who had run away from home. Sherry's family now knows who she was, but the circumstances of her death remain unknown. The investigation is ongoing as the authorities continue to search for her killer, hoping to uncover new information leading to the truth. What are your thoughts about these cases? Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit the like icon and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.